Okay, so yeah, Chomp to Uber. I want to make this short because I know I'll go over the 10-minute mark if I get into it too much. But, I'm gonna go as close to the 10-minute mark as I can. So if you're not interested in listening to a well thought out rant that I put some thought into before starting this, then you can go. Because I've only seen one other Chomp rant besides the one I'm going to be doing now, and that was Disses. And he explained his opinion on Chomp pretty well, but he really didn't go in depth as to why it was banned and, his stances on it. It was really just a matter of how Smogon was an asshole, and Disses video proved that very well. I mean, we all know that Smogon is just they have their heads up their asses, but this video just reinforced that, which is good, because I think a lot of people should know that they aren't the elitists that they think they are. I mean, a couple of months ago, Obi was talking about testing Mew and OU, and I know how testing isn't, an actual move of tiers, but the mere thought of taking something that can learn any fucking move in the game and has 100 base stats, the mere thought of taking that and just testing it in standard play is just retarded. There's no question about it. That thing is Uber. It always has been. I've only been playing since late 3rd gen, early Diamond and Pearl till now, and I'm pretty sure that it's been Uber since Generation 1, and yes, there has been competitive battling since then. But anyway, on to the point of the video. Chomp to Uber. The only set that really probably forced this shift of tier for him is the Swords Dance set. I really don't see any other set making him, Uber material. It was just the Swords Dance set. It just gave a team a lot of leverage. You could put SD Chomp on like any team, and instantly it would gain so much, offensive drive and just a lot of leverage against anything else. It would pretty much make up for any weakness that the team would have against a wall of some sort or anything slower than Chomp, because Chomp comes in either after something dies on something slower than it, or in the middle, or smartly can switch into an attack and then set up from there. I mean, you can predict a Thunder Wave from maybe Zappy, Lantern, something, anything. A Crippler like Tank or Celebi, you can predict a Thunder Wave, come in on that, set up, wreak havoc. It was just so dangerous that it had to get moved, and I admit that I was skeptical at first, because I remember there was talk about this a few months ago, that they actually might do this, and I was like, well, if they do, then they're retarded, because there's so many counters for Chomp, and I didn't really realize how over-centralizing it was, and how the Swords Dance set just really destroyed the meta. Stuff that could normally counter any other Chomp set, like a Scarf or a Band set, was just, dropping to this thing, because it was just so, like I said, it over-centralized the metagame. You had it come in on stuff, set up, and about after even one dance, proved deadly to some things, and if you didn't phase it out with Skarm on the initial switch in of Skarm, which some people tried, then you pretty much met your demise. Because I know some people went sub over Fire, Blast, or Fang, foregoing that and foregoing, actual Skarm coverage, and people try to take that to their advantage, but the Chomp users got smarter, I guess, and started packing Blaster Fang over sub just to get rid of Skarm. So that idea failed, and Cress, which could have normally taken a few Dragon Calls and just fired back with Ice Beam, now also gets 2-hit KO'd by one dance Dragon Claw, I think. I don't have calcs for that, but now that thing just can get set up on too, because Yacha Berry, the standard hold item for that set for Chomp, that just made it even more worse. I mean, the fact that you could come in on stuff slower than you, get a dance up, get like a ridiculous amount of attack on you, backed by pretty decent speed, and then just tear apart anything. And then on top of that, nulling your quad weakness, which further gives you leverage to set up on stuff that you normally switch out of. I know a lot of people were trying out CB Mammo Ice Shard, which was cool because it was a priority move. It was stab, choice band Mamoswine. Mamoswine's already got a ridiculous base attack to begin with. Despite that, you know, it would normally be able to KO Chomp even without the choice band, probably. In this case, not at all. I mean, Yacha Berry, just, I think the calcs that I did earlier were on from Mammo Ice Shard with those things, you know, adamant, max attack, to regular defense Chomp, not no EVs or HP, because, you know, not needed. I think it was something like 127 point something percent to 136 point something percent. Regardless of the numbers after the decimal point, doesn't really matter. It's an OKO. But Yacha Berry takes that, halves the damage. So now instead of getting an OKO, you are doing high 50s, low 60s, and then just either getting set up on, which would be retarded if they'd stayed in on the Mammo and then chose to set up again, or you're getting KO'd. So CB Mammo almost worked as a pseudo counter for Chomp, but failed. And there was really nothing much left after that. Gliscor failed, couldn't take a Dragon Claw after a few dances. Couldn't hit back with Ice Fang. Donphan, which used to be a popular Chomp, Choice Scarf Chomp counter from early stages of the metagame, didn't do so hot. So many things were just, there was nothing. And the one thing that, besides this move that I think Smogon should be credited for, because, you know, they deserve some credit, because after all, they are pompous assholes, but the one thing I think they do deserve credit for is they properly defined a counter. What they defined a counter as is something that can safely switch into an opposing Pokemon without fear and have nothing to fear when it's in. So, you know, maybe force a switch. So I think that is properly defined. I couldn't have said it any better myself, except that little bit I added at the end. And nothing fit that role or that definition for Chomp. And that's basically how things become Uber. And really, I'm appalled at my even slight skepticism of this move, because now that I look into it, and being a very good player of the OU tier, and I almost consider myself a DP OU vet to an extent, and not being able to recognize this and pick up on it, you know, when the trend first started, I'm appalled. So yeah, Chomp for Uber is a decent idea. I think my forums are going to be following this. Yeah, this move was justified. I'd like to sit here and bash Smogon for a good 10 minutes, but I can't. This shift was just full out justified. They got everything down. They know what they're talking about here. They're good to go. They aren't talking out of their ass this time. So Chomp to Uber, good idea. And some people are saying how it won't survive in Ubers, and that really isn't an argument, because as you should know, Ubers is kind of just like that place where everything that was too strong for standard play was just shoved, and it's not really a structured environment to build a team around. So yeah. So yeah, hopefully no one else sees this as like a little conformist thing. I usually don't conform with Smogon. The recent changes with Arrow and Articuno and all of them, we currently have some of that stuff that was ridiculous for UU and BL, like Weezing and Aerodactyl. So we don't follow Smogon, but, you know, this time we have to. So, yeah, it's a good idea. Chomp to Uber. Good shit. Peace.